Welcome to the multiplayer lobby, everybody. Splatoon 3 decided to change things up by making it way more interesting to play the game. So, when you're first starting off with the online play, I am not starting off, as you can kind of see up there. You're going to go through making a calling card and all sorts of things, but the main thing is to get into the regular battle, turf war, and I have my gear, which is actually on technically a separate account from what I played on the single player. So I'm a bit more experienced on this one compared to the last one, and I'm gonna do turf battle. So I really like this. In between you playing matches, you can actually do stuff instead of sitting there at a menu like a Goomba in a cake. You can actually practice your skill. You can stand there. You just have an environment to kind of exist in, which is really cool. So I plan on doing a ton of multiplayer in Splatoon 3. Online matches, my name is Brian Saviano, BricksOBrian. You already know that I have my Grizzco hat on. This is the one that I earned from playing all sorts of Salmon Run, which I've been playing way more than multiplayer because the youngins that play this Splatoon, my goodness, are they good. It is like, I feel abysmally old by not being as good at Splatoon 3 as I could be. Just like this, you can see there's all sorts of stuff happening everywhere, and I am not the main guy for it looks like. This weapon that I currently have is more so for laying down ink rather than anything else. So, it is not necessarily meant for battle, but that's exactly what's about to happen around here. I don't even know what that thing does. I don't even know what any of this stuff does, but in case you've never heard of turf war before, it involves you laying down as much ink as possible so the enemy cannot win. That's essentially what it's all about. Ooh, that did not get any of them? Seriously? Okay. You can see that they're really working in sync over here. So the goal is to get my color ink, which is purple in this case, and to get it down on the ground as much as possible. There's all sorts of enemies everywhere, all sorts of power-ups everywhere. If you're watching this and you've never heard of Splatoon before, you might say, Mr. O'Brien, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't even know what flavor gum I'm eating right now. I wouldn't blame you. There's a lot of stuff going on. So, it makes sense why the youngins are the ones who are like, yeah, I love me some Splatoon. Because they play it all the time. And I mean, I do too, but definitely not to the same extent as a lot of these people do. So it's a 4v4 splat match. There's all different types of weapons you can use that are all based around painting for the most part. So I am using a arrow brush, or an airbrush rather. So it's like, you know, when you're in the mall kiosk and you see all those super fancy airbrush things of the caricatures and whatnot, that's essentially what I'm using here in the form of a weapon in Splatoon 3. So what the enemy is really consumed with right now is us as players over here, while my main mission with this weapon is to coat the ink on the ground. Everybody's really vibing out over here and just seeing what happens, you know? That ability that I used right over there is a shark that launches out of me, and when I hit the ZR button, when I hit the button at the very end, basically, it allows me to have like a big splashdown at the end. So that's pretty spicy. This guy up here, you see that guy up there? He's kind of trying here. It's not really working though. You're not getting some ink on here. Absolutely not. So I think we won this 0 issues at all. We shall see about that though right here. Absolutely without issue. So you can see there's a percentage of what team covers what amount of ink. I'm always a big fan of covering your section. You can kind of see it way down there. The purple section is much more nicely covered toward the main base compared to the yellow team over here, which is what definitely secures the win more so than not. So the pacing of these matches is lightning quick. There are things in between. Like obviously here you can play around and do whatever. You can see my gear gets upgraded as well as my level over time. So I have a level 7. That's for me personally. And my catalog is level 20. So the catalog involves, it's kind of like a battle pass. If you're familiar with any other type of multiplayer games, they're like, hey, the battle pass, you can unlock all the different things as you level up. So I'll show you what that is in a little while here. It involves all the different types of unlockables like hats and shirts and shoes. So instead of having, you know, your weapon necessarily being upgraded, your character's outfit is upgraded in different parts. So that's like I was kind of saying in the not survival series, in the story mode, the main aspect of Splatoon is the multiplayer. So you're gonna be playing this over and over and over again. You launch from a upper section up there, kind of middle of nowhere. That's a little bit different from Splatoon 3, whereas before you just kind of hover in place. But like I said, I like to lay down a whole bunch of ink everywhere throughout here, make sure the main base is covered before I go into main battle over here, because my weapon is essentially based on, like I said, the airbrush, which covers a lot of surface area pretty quickly here. And so also, that allows me to get my my special weapon over here pretty easily. So if I go over here, ooh, you can see that this guy tried to do this as well, and he got the victory on that one. So that's fine. Now this guy here, you see the jump ability that he has? That is because all of his gear is maxed out. So what ends up happening with Splatoon 3 in particular, everybody is so good at this game because all the Nintendo Switch people have played Splatoon 2 like crazy. So a lot of that that energy has kind of carried over into Splatoon 3, and thus I haven't played Splatoon 2 in like what seems like a decade. So none of that experience carries over. I mean, I played Splatoon 1 on Wii U, of course, but you know, it's a whole different generation, I feel like. And there's a big market for Splatoon over in Japan, as I've said previously. So you can see just like the techniques are just very different from anything that I'm used to. Everybody really hones in on the multiplayer and gets their gear leveled up very quickly. So this is as competitive of a multiplayer shooter that Nintendo will essentially ever have. And as you may be familiar with, a lot of these online multiplayer games get very competitive very quickly. So you see, like, the base is secure over here, you know, like they're working as a team, and you can see that kind of by what they're doing up here. You can see all their gear is essentially really maxed out. So if you're not working together as a team in that sense, then you're kind of in a lot of trouble. So we are in a lot of trouble, as illustrated by the danger sign way up toward the top there. I got one person, so that's great. It's not abysmally awful, but it's not great either. I'm going to try to act as a distraction over toward this way here. Do this. So that way they're like, wait, what? Where's this guy coming from? What? Just kind of mess with him, you know? Just kind of go down here and be like, hey man, meow meow, meow meow. There we go. So by invading into their base over there, it kind of provides a little bit of leeway for my team to do similarly, and it gets them not focused on the main goal at hand. So if I can go over here, kind of clean some stuff up over toward this way, you know, make sure you can see that before, you literally just saw it right there happen in real time. They were controlling the middle section there, but because I acted as the distraction and intercepted in, that's what secures us the victory right there. So all these try-hard young bunches of whoever try to be like, oh, we're going to lock down the fortress, we're going to, you know? Just slide through. Bam, just like that. Catch them off guard. They have no idea what they're doing. So for all these the young ones, they're like, oh, we know what we're doing. Don't mess with Mr. O'Brien, all right? I don't have the best gear by any means whatsoever, but I'm going to keep the momentum going. And it kind of works out really well. In previous Splatoon videos, I'd be like, hey, I'll edit when I get to the next match, and we're kind of just waiting in between here. I really like this area. It allows you to go basically to any sort of situation you could imagine. Over toward here, there's different balloons that have different levels of health to it. And with this section here, you can actually approach this robot, and it replicates exactly what you're doing. So you can see how much damage you're inflicting into the robot, or vice versa. You can climb up over toward here, and there's communication errors, obviously, that can sometimes happen. So maybe, depending on how the internet connection works with me here, I may or may not participate. I don't know. We'll see. Real quick, before we get into the next match here, there's this slot machine, which doesn't require real money, but obviously, you know, it is a thing. You can get things from inside of it. And because I played a ton of Salmon Run, you'll see that the coins that I have up here are used for that over here. So 30,000 of them is quite a lot. And that's for a bunch of chips that are not Pringles and a figure. So that's cool. That's super expensive, though, so I'm not going to bother with any of that. If I go over toward here, these little things act as getting, like, more cash or increasing your XP, doubles the XP, whatever. All these situations are in the form of, like, these tickets. Those are earned in the Salmon Run or other game modes, I guess. Playing through multiplayer in some way, shape, and form. But, yeah. So, I don't typically use those because I'm not trying to, like, level up to a level 100 and make a whole big thing. I'm just trying to enjoy. So, for the super tryhards that are like, yeah, I'm going to get my double, quadruple XP weekends and I'm going to, you know, all that, they get super into it. Not as much me. I will be entirely honest with you. It is a little bit, not beyond me, but, you know, I played a lot of Splatoon 1 in that way. And by the time Splatoon 2 came out, there were so many other games that I was more invested in. I mean, another communication error, seriously. Like, there are other games that I was more invested in that I connected with better. And then, obviously, you can press L right here. You don't have to walk into that teleporter thing every time. But, you know, I'm not super competitive, I guess. Maybe that's my problem. I should be a little more competitive. Maybe I would get to be more invested in the game. But, like, I like it when everybody can have fun, which is why I like Salmon Run. We're all competing against a computer, so we're all trying to win and bringing our best, and it's holding each other accountable as a team. So I like it in that sense. It doesn't feel like enemies versus enemies. It's like, you know, enemies versus computers, whatever. So, yeah, I'm not going to be using the arrow spray every single match or every single time I play through Splatoon 3 in any way, shape, or form. But you see, like, over here, right? These people just kind of left it. They didn't do anything in the middle here. They didn't cover up anything, right? That's kind of not the point, right? You're supposed to lay down the ink all throughout here as much as possible. You see, I already have my special here, which is great. This weapon over here, this sub-special weapon, I should say. I'm going to do this real quick, because why not? And, ooh, gotcha, baby. All right, so that was kind of nicely timed there. But you can see that there was that one, ooh, wipeout. Cool. It's a new feature of Splatoon 3 where they tell you exactly when you wipe out the entire team in one go, which is kind of cool. It's kind of a, not a mean thing to do, but definitely not like a, I don't know, not a reward for the other team. Like, it's meant to be like, hey, you're that bad that you all died at one time. So, you know, take it for as what you will. You can really invade on the other team's map or like area in general, depending on what map you're playing on. Oh, geez, they both kicked the bucket. Okay. That ends up happening a lot, actually, while you're playing Splatoon. Because of the way the online multiplayer works, it really has a hard time tracking some players sometimes. So you'll notice that I may die from like 3 hits of ink where I really shouldn't have. That happens a lot. That's called netcode, which is a system that allows the game to register like where players are at any given time. So like it's trying to compensate for any lag between any characters that are on the field right now. Essentially what's happening. There we go. Did I do that? So you saw that like I destroyed that enemy, right? I destroyed that enemy right before any ink was laid down. So like I didn't really do anything. So yeah, sometimes that happens where it's like I didn't actually splat anyone, or I feel like I didn't splat anyone. And that ended up being a thing there. So that one was totally justified. But even then, I only hit him like a couple of times, so it wasn't really all that much. So it's a little bizarre in that way. You can't get back up here, so you're kind of donezo. And you see right there, right? So when I exploded there, right? I didn't directly take any damage. I just kind of exploded. There's a little bit of that lag I was talking about from before. That's what's causing those situations there. You got to be careful about that stuff. That happens way too frequently. So if you're like, oh, I'm absolutely... Now, that one was fair. But if I'm absolutely kicking the bucket, that's why. So this one, I feel like we're going to lose big time, probably. Yes, I'm going to die immediately here. Just kidding, I'm not. Okay, cool. There is a strong likelihood we just lost that. Let me see what the deal is. We lost it, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that was it was okay. If it's within 10% or less, it's close. So that was technically close. There is just at a 10% difference between the two teams. If it goes any higher than that, it's a blowout entirely. So I'm going to stick with the arrow spray probably for the rest of this video, just so I can show you what it's all about. But I'm going to stick with the same gear and everything else. You can see that I'm leveling up as time goes on. I'll wait until I connect into a new match because sometimes I guess there's errors. So yeah. All right, Turf War again. So also, the way the game works, in case you didn't know, every 2 hours, they change the maps. So you're not playing on the same maps all day, every day. They don't have all the maps in rotation. They only have 2 maps in rotation per game mode. So for Turf War here, where you just have to cover up all the ink and make the best of it, these 2 maps that you've seen so far right now are the only 2 maps that will be available for the next 2 hours. After that point, you'll see the maps change up. And the maps can change, like 12 times per day. It goes like 24/7. So there's no days off. There's no nothing like that. It's just, it stays the same in that way. So that's kind of good that you're not waiting around and playing the same maps and whatnot. Bye-bye. Ooh, baby, there we go. I don't know where you were going with that one. Mr. Picasso with the paintbrush over there, don't you know? Don't you know? See that? So, like, that one right there, I didn't even directly hit him and he exploded. So, like, again, stuff like that happens. I'm not saying it's fair, and I don't like when I win that way because it doesn't seem the most fair thing ever, you know? I want to make sure that I make it as fair as possible for people. Yep. Ooh, I lost that one. But I won that one. That's pretty snazzy. And I lost that one. So that happens a lot. Lots of that. The dualies I'm a very big fan of. That person just lost right there. Or that kid or squid, whatever you want to call them, lost right there. I'm a fan of the dualies, arrow spray, anything, like I said, in the story mode. Anything that has a high rate of fire, I'm definitely a big fan of. So the sniper rifle is not too much. The dualies, like I said, yes. Some of the longer range weapons, but not all of them. You'll kind of see what I succeed with as I play through the multiplayer here. So, again, this is the main reason why you're buying Splatoon for the most part here. The thing also is that you're not only doing the multiplayer, there's the weapons and everything else, but I do this. Double. Nice. See, when that happens, you gotta love that. So, some of these specials and weapons and stuff are either a massive benefit or a massive hindrance. I'm going to make sure you follow me to the ends of the earth here and waste that special almost entirely, which you did. So sometimes these enemies get laser focused in and go after you when they really shouldn't be. It's not a great use of time. So that's great. What are you doing here, buddy? See ya. Absolutely not. Get your ink out of here, buckaroony. Absolutely not. There's some interactive elements in the sense of the middle section changing quite a bit, which is cool. I really am interested in the ink, like the one that's inhaling all the ink there. That's pretty spicy. That's a pretty spicy special, you know. I'm curious about that one. But in general, I'm going to make sure you can't get away here. Absolutely not. You're not going anywhere. Cool. So that was a fairly easy one to mitigate here. And it looks like that's going to be it. And I'm assuming we won that one with flying colors because we didn't die all that much as a team. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can just kind of tell by looking at it. Occasionally, there isn't many situations where it's like, oh, it's really close. It's either you can just gauge it based on how the middle section is covered versus the other sides. So, whatever. I'm going to go to the next match. So you may think it gets boring playing the same matches in the same course of the 2 hours, and it kind of does. I think having the different weapons and specials helps kind of mitigate that, but not entirely. So that's kind of the game. Kind of the game is like, hey, you should go outside and take a break instead of playing for, 12 hours in a day, which some people do. And I guess it allows you to figure out what the ins and outs of all the maps are in a relatively short period of time, so you're not left kind of figuring out what everything is for super long, extended sessions, you know? Like you can play the same map many times in a row, learn everything, and then move on to the next one. So that's kind of cool. The special that I am liking, though... Oh, my goodness, what are we doing? We're going to go over here? Just kidding. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to connect it toward the middle section, which this map I don't think I've shown you yet, which is spicy. Oh, what are we doing here with the dualies? What are we doing? Okay, relax. Relax with the dualies. Okay. We're going to do this and head back over toward here. Nope, absolutely not. Not going to happen. Nope. No, I guess it is going to happen. Okay. So I never do these live. The play sessions with Splatoon and whatnot, I never do them live because my internet connection while I'm doing live is different from while I'm playing it on camera here. So get him out of here with that respawn anchor thing. Yeah, right. Absolutely not. All right, let me do that. I don't even know what it does, but that's fine. I'm also going to head up toward here, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Oh, no, I did play... Okay. Did play this one time with the distraction. Forgot about that. Distraction mode, yes. So I'm going to play the distraction once again. Each match is only 3 minutes long, so that gives you a little bit of time to get comfortable, but again, not entirely so. You have a little bit of maneuvering to do in that sense. Get out of here, Goomba. See ya. And now you're noticing the enemy is also going to that extent as well. Go. Okay. That's the unfortunate thing about the shark right there. It takes a second to charge up, and then you're like, oh, no, I'm already done. Okay, never mind. So a little bit of a problem in that way. Really? Seriously? Thank you. Goodness gracious. Trying to get to this side, it's not going to happen. Can you stop it? Stop it. No. Stay out and out of the area. Thank you. Mamma mia. All right. And so here's what I'm going to do. For my next magic trick, I'm going to go this way. Just kidding. All right, I guess I'm not. I thought I was going to go that way. Let's play distraction. Nope, never mind. Wipeout. So that means we did exceptionally bad. Although we weren't down for that long anyways. So if I can find some way in 20 seconds to get to the enemy team, then I'd be doing all right. But I'm assuming that's not going to happen here. It's a pretty spicy way to go about doing it, if I do say so myself. Hold on. Wait a second. Hold on. Oh, geez. Okay. Well, that's quite a bit of damage up all in here. I mean, I did infiltrate. I infiltrated. I don't know if that was worthwhile. That's close. Probably not. $45.4 to 45.6. Very close. Very close. Very close. That's a good one to end it out on. So that's the arrow spray with the maps that I'm playing right here. I'm going to play a little bit more, but not with this weapon. I'm going to change things up and see you next time for more Turf War, all right? Bye.